Hey, what's up you guys? My name is Henry Sierra and thank you for clicking on this video. On my channel you can find my journey through filmmaking as I pursue my passion through these videos. I also talk about creative theory, things like the approach, the perspective, the mindset, and things that you could do to make yourself better on this platform over time. In this one we're going to be talking about one of the biggest reasons that people suffer on YouTube over a long period of time. I'll say 1, 2, maybe 3 years at most, if it lasts that long, because it's not going to if you're doing this one thing. So let's get to it. So this one very big and important thing that you should be avoiding at all costs when you are making YouTube videos is not being yourself. And this is a tough situation to handle when you are starting out on YouTube, to be yourself, because, well, you haven't found the kind of content that you want to create. So this is something that I actually struggled with when I started my YouTube channel. I was making a few films here and there that were kind of iffy on what I wanted to create because I didn't know that yet. This is the first video that I ever made, or the first or second video I ever made, and you can just tell that this is not who I am as a personality, because you guys see my demeanor, you guys see the way I talk now, and it's nothing like how this was. We go to like 3 or 4 parties a night. Oh, I mean actually, when we party, we go to like 3 parties in one night, 4 parties in one night, 5 parties in one night. All the ones that we've been to so far have been popped. So now bear with me here. This is pretty cringy for me, but I just want to let you know that this was almost 2 years ago. And in that time I have very much so found myself on YouTube, and I've kind of found the kind of stuff I wanted to create and say to the audience that I have. Before then, I was just kind of creating to create because I wanted to redevelop the skill that I had when I was younger, because I hadn't started a YouTube channel in maybe 2 or 3 years. I had taken that long of a break, and in that time, well, I hadn't been editing or filming or anything, so I needed to redevelop that skill. And in order to redevelop that skill, I made videos like this that were kind of just more targeting a bigger audience, because I wanted to try and find people that actually watch my stuff so that I could get feedback. That's one of the biggest things that I was talking about back then when I would make these videos, was for feedback, because I didn't know what I was doing. Now, pay attention there, because I said I didn't know what I was doing. That is very true, and that is very okay. But when you are starting out, it's okay to not know what you're doing. Most of us don't, because a lot of us don't really grow up around cameras and have that interest. I was about 13 or 14 years old when I got this camera, and it was what I would use because it has a flip out screen. I don't think I showed that in the B-roll that I just put up for you guys, but it has a flip out screen, and that makes it really awesome for this. So if you're just finding that, it'll take some time, but you will find your footing and you will find your style. On this channel you can find my journey through filmmaking as I pursue my passion through these videos, as well as anything that has to do with being a creative. I talk about things like the approach, the perspective, the mindset, and things that you can do to make yourself better. Okay, so adapting creativity. Adapting creativity is the kind of movement that I want to start. I thought about this idea because the most important thing that you have to remember is to always just create ideas that you genuinely want to create. I have done a good job of that within the past maybe like 80 or so videos, and I'm really proud of that. I'm really proud of where my channel is going and how it is looking, because one of the biggest things that I wanted to do was have an aesthetically pleasing channel, and that just happens over time. Over that time of being yourself as much as you possibly can with regards to ideas, filmmaking, editing. If you are putting a bit of yourself into each and every one of those things, eventually you'll end up something that looks a lot like what you feel like it would look like for you. So, I mean, I was lucky. I consider myself lucky because I got out of this stump that I was in of trying to be somebody that I thought other people would want to watch, and that didn't really work. I got the views, but I didn't get the engagement or audience interaction, and I get that now.
I don't even know if I got it. But
where are we going after Panda?
my car.
And then where?
And then, oh, you know.
And it's because I've been myself a lot more, and I've found like the kind of smooth branding and footing that I've created by being myself. That's another thing. My brand is my brand because it's me. If it was someone else with a different personality, it probably wouldn't come off as well. Adapting Creativity is a brand that is created from a person that has very minimal things, doesn't have a lot of money, and has been doing this since he was like 12 years old, and who also has kind of an introverted personality, who is also very calm, and I'm a really deep thinker. I can't talk right now like I never can in these videos, but yeah, that is my personality, and I show that in these videos now. I didn't before, and if you guys go watch my older videos, you'll probably notice that too. And that is what I'm trying to talk about here, the difference between that. It's totally okay to not be that way in the very beginning, but it's definitely a problem if you are not trying to do that. That's going to be a long-term problem for you because when you actually say, you know what, I'm getting older now, I really want to start creating things that I actually enjoy. When you start doing that, you're going to lose the audience interaction that you have built because, well, it's a completely different you, a completely different personality. Same face, but uncomfortable demeanor and things like that. Alright, so you guys know that I have talked about always wanting to leave you guys with some value in every single video that I make now. And this time I'm going to leave you with some extra value instead of just this idea and this thing that I'm talking about. I'm going to give you a couple of tips. So here's 2 tips. Think about something that's searchable that you also enjoy making and are interested in. The next thing, and I think that this is an even better tip because this is the tip that I use for myself, and that is how I'm maintaining consistent branding overall. Make one video, but think for 40 or 50. Alright, so I want to know you guys' opinions. Do you think that you guys are being yourselves on YouTube? And if not, then, well, why is that? Okay, and that is the end of this one. I hope you guys have enjoyed. And with that being said, I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.